Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, July 26th, 2012. Just a few minutes ago, a large earthquake struck in the Indian Ocean near the islands of Mauritius. It was a 6.7 quake. It was about 250 miles north of Mauritius Islands. There have been no reports of any damages, and most importantly, there have been no tsunami warnings issued yet. However, the Indian Ocean near Mauritius is quite shallow, and it could be possible that a wave could be developing in that area, so we're watching that closely. A little bit further to the east in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia on the island of Labuan, earlier this morning there was a giant explosion at a methane production facility plant owned by the Petronas company. You're familiar with the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, which are the tallest buildings in the world, or at least were at one point. The number 2 plant at the methane production facility, which is the largest one in Asia, has been knocked offline. A tanker, the Bunga Alpina, exploded while it was loading menthol, which ended up destroying a number of methane gas lines. The facility that's off produces 700,000 metric tons of methanol a year. HSBC, which is Europe's largest bank, despite being named officially the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, has been fined over $27 million by Mexican regulators for lax controls in its anti-money laundering systems. This is a week after a scathing U.S. Senate report slammed the bank for letting clients shift funds from dangerous and secretive countries. The American fine, which has not yet been levied, is expected to be in excess of $1 billion. And there's a fellow in New Zealand's government called Jerry Brownlee, and on his business card it says New Zealand Earthquake Minister. Mr. Brownlee is becoming increasingly exasperated over the slow pace of claims payments as a result of the 2 big earthquakes earlier this year in February. Apparently about 100% of the commercial claims have been paid. However, only 20% of the residential claims have been paid. He is publicly slamming New Zealand insurers, saying that all data has been handed over to them, and indicated that his patience has run out. We announced the other day that Bermuda-based Lancashire Holdings had a little bit of a blip because of the Costa Concordia disaster, which caused them to add some more claims reserves to their quarterly profits, but they had still made money. Today they announced that they're going to shut down their property, facultative, and onshore energy insurance businesses due to volatile loss ratios. Richard Brindle, the founder and CEO, said, "It's with some sadness that I have to report that Lancashire has decided during the quarter to withdraw from its property direct and facultative lines as well as its onshore energy. I would like to thank the members of Lancashire's direct and facultative underwriting team and wish them well for the future." The enormous drought scorching the central United States will almost certainly cost at least $12 billion, making it the costliest drought since 1988. This is according to Aon Benfield's Steve Bowen. He said that at least 64% of the contiguous United States is in a drought. They also said that we can expect food prices to increase sharply, as much as 5% beginning in the fall. The CEO of Nomura in Japan, Mr. Kenichi Watanabe, has resigned in the wake of an insider trading scandal that has tarnished the company's reputation. Nomura has admitted that some of its employees were involved in leaking inside information. We often quote William Berkeley, Bill Berkeley, who is the founder of the company that has its name. You should go to the internet and find the earnings transcript call. You'll learn all you'll need to know about reinsurance from that. One of the things Mr. Berkeley said in yesterday's phone call, he said, "Our view is still unchanged, that by the end of the year we'll be looking at 8 to 9% rate increases." The reinsurance industry is cheering that. Mr. Berkeley is a bit of a sage, and he's usually always right. An interesting announcement came yesterday from none other than 79-year-old Sandy Weill, the former chief executive of Citigroup. He's still the chairman emeritus. Mr. Weill, astonishingly enough, called for the breakup of large banks. Mr. Weill's comments come 13 years after the repeal of Glass-Steagall, which was the American law passed after the Great Depression, that forced a separation between traditional banking and riskier activity, like investment banking. Mr. Weill championed that repeal as he created Citigroup. He had pressed lawmakers and regulators to strip away the law that had prevented mergers across different types of transactions. In 1998, after a series of acquisitions, including Solomon Brothers and Smith Barney, Mr. Weill combined the Travelers Insurance Company with Citicorp to create a sprawling conglomerate that became Citigroup. The successful result of his efforts to repeal Glass-Steagall allowed the new group to stay intact. Citigroup, of course, later became one of the largest casualties of the financial crisis, requiring a $45 billion bailout from the American taxpayers. Well, I guess he finally got it right. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.